Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the movie The Long Walk. Now, this came on, Stars, I believe? Or MGM Plus? One of my movie things that we've kind of got there. And this one is an adaptation of Stephen King's The Long Walk book, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was a good adaptation of the source material from what I've seen. There are certain kind of differences of playing with the speed. Instead of having 100 boys doing the walk, we have 50 representing the states and what's kind of going on there, and also changing a bit of what kind of goes on with the ending of the movie. But overall, I really actually think that they did a good job in adapting this, because it really just kind of hits at what it's attempting to do. It's 108 minutes, and I didn't feel like it was around for too long. So we start off the movie and we see our main character. Let me see here. Yeah, Raymond Garrity. Pretty much dealing with his mom, that he's volunteered for this lottery thing. We see that they do this kind of long walk, and that it's done until one winner is left, and they get a lot of money and one wish that can be fulfilled. We also get certain kind of restrictions on that wish as we're kind of going through the movie, as the boys are talking about this. But it's pretty much a totalitarian, authoritarian regime that's kind of going on, and this is to pump everybody up, kind of Hunger Games style, and be like, oh look, you can win and be set for life and stuff, and to motivate others for GDP and shit. It's yeah, that shit never fucking works. But we see these people do these kind of systems, and we also see that Mark Hamill is the major, pretty much the main kind of antagonistical force. And I go more with force because it's more the kind of symbol of the oppression and everything that's kind of going on with the United States after this certain kind of civil war, and this long walk is supposed to bring everybody together. So we see pretty much Ray left there. He could have dropped out the night before, but now he's kind of committed. His mom gives him his favorite kind of cookies, chocolate chip oatmeal, and really doesn't want him to go, but we see him kind of go off there and start kind of bonding with certain kind of boys, really kind of bonding with Peter McReeves. Let me see if I'm saying that right. McReeves, yeah. So it's all kind of jovial enough until we get the major pretty much alright, you boys have sack and everything like that, and just giving them their numbers and just having them kind of walk. And we see certain people having certain kind of strategies for this. One dude trying to be a writer and write throughout the perspective of what's going on with the long walk, which doesn't really work out very well for him. We see people what's kind of going on. Do they stop for anything? They don't. So if you have to piss or shit, that creates a lot of different kind of problems. So we see them kind of going off, and they have to keep walking at a pace of 3 miles per hour. If they drop below that, they get a warning. If they don't, and if they, in order to get off that warning, they have to walk for an hour. If they still haven't gone up, they get a second warning, third warning, and then they get their ticket punched. And the thing is, they don't get sent home. They get shot. Either mainly to kill them, or to pretty much wound them and to have others kind of go to their aid and use them pretty much as traps. And to also stop the others from kind of going up against the people. Because you're thinking, why don't they just kind of go after the army? These soldier kind of people. And we see that going throughout the movie, as certain ones kind of lose their shit and are like, fuck this shit. But not enough people go there, because they're you're given the false hope that you do have this chance of winning and either changing things or being safe in your thing. And it's that freedom for me over freedom for all that kind of gets into a certain kind of crawl here. Now, Garrity and McReeves, they have different kind of dreams than kind of the rest of them. And we see the boys kind of going throughout this walk, kind of relaying their dreams and how they kind of interact with each other. Because at first they're kind of trying to kind of fight each other. Let's see here. But like all eligible men, like sign up for it voluntarily and trying to improve their lives. Let's see. Because they're at first trying to like suss each other out, but then we start seeing them kind of bond together and have like Three Musketeers kind of stuff. And because Barkovich kind of like fucks with a certain kind of dude, and he's seeing other people trying to make friends, but since there's such a big cast of people, it kind of like goes at the wayside and then kind of comes back and throughout, because the main anchor characters are Raymond Garrity and Peter McGreeves, as they're kind of shooting the shit, kind of learning about each other and having this kind of friendship that's actually really working out and helping to save them, because Garrity kind of gets dragged a little bit because they're going up this steep hill. He's kind of sleeping and everything, but Peter kind of like helps him out and everything. And we learn that Ray's backstory, his father would teach him stuff that was considered banned, and the Major did show up and give him a choice of like repenting and swearing allegiance and all that, and he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, and stands up and he shoots him in the head. And what Ray's whole thing is to win and wish for a carbine to then kill the Major. Peter is attempting to utilize the money that he would have in his wish to kind of help orphans like him, because he was an orphan. He lost his parents during the whole Civil War that had gone on. He went with his uncle, who also died when he was 10 because of all the weird shit that was kind of going on, and then he kind of went around and was fighting everybody and pretty much almost died talking about his scar and all that, and that he's trying to then help out kids like him and to stop that stuff. It's like, all right, because he sees more of the kind of light in the world. And the actor who does Peter does very well. I'd like, even though I did not like Alien Romulus, he played the android in Alien Romulus, and he did a very good job in that, and I really liked how he was able to do Peter here as well. Yeah, he is the same one. But we see them kind of all screwing around. We see this Hank dude. Hank. Yeah. Evidently, he was also married and had a wife named Clementine, so we get a whole Clementine kind of thing kind of going on. But we see him kind of losing it. He's actually allergic to the rations for the Spam that's kind of going on. We see people... one dude getting the shits and getting killed. We see someone getting pretty much screwed over, the one that was writing the book, and having his ankle screwed up, and then just shooting him. One dude loses his shit, takes off his clothes, and you have to stay on the road. If you go off the road, they like auto take you out. Certain boys try to escape at a certain kind of point, but they just take him out. And it's kind of interesting because as we start getting lower and lower, we also learn that we are in Garrity's home state, that he would be able to see his mom. Let me see. One of them, Collie, was kind of pissed off that he had that, and Peter's like, dude, it's probably going to make it harder, as we see it later on, even after like Collie wasn't able to see it because he went just kind of like Hank and tried to go get one of the soldiers' guns, and they shoot him, and both of them to wound, and then Collie takes his own life to end it. We see Barkovich, who had screwed over this one kid and pretty much accidentally got him killed, but everybody's like, you killed that kid, man. It's like, because he was intentionally fucking with him because of his name. It's like, what the fuck, man? And then later on, he tries to kind of connect with them because they were talking about Hank and his wife Clementine, and that they made a pledge to support her if whoever one of them won, and Barkovich wanted in on it, and he kind of at least tried to remedy the situation before he went, fuck it, and then pretty much stabbed himself in the neck with a spoon. However, the soldiers still came up and had to show the power of the state, and so that you can't take yourself out, we will kill you and end it on our terms. You really get that kind of oppression kind of going on. And as we get towards the end of it, we get that Stebbins Ray and Peter are the last three, and that Stebbins, he was like this physically fit kind of Superman kind of dude, but he got sick throughout the rest of it because of like allergies and just the physical exertion, because we see certain people just like lose their shit. Charlie horses occurring, just breaking down of their bodies because they are walking constantly. And we brings up that he is one of the Major's bastards, and that he has like dozens of them everywhere, and that his wish was to have tea with his father. And it's like, god damn, dude. I do like that since they're the main anchor characters and they're trying to have this kind of light, it does affect the other ones going forward throughout this, even towards the end where Stebbins actually stops being kind of adversarial and be like, see you guys, as he pretty much just steps back and lets them kill him. And this is where it kind of deviates from the book. Peter pretty much lets himself get killed in the book, where in this one, Garrity kind of stops him from that and lets himself get killed as well, because he wanted someone with the light to kind of like take it, and the Major then does the coup de grace because everybody was waiting for that. We see people cheering and reveling in this, and that kind of goes to show that like even taking out the Major doesn't really help. These people are participating in this system. It's not, you have to dismantle that system that's having all of these people get fucked over like this. I mean, yes, you can take out the head of the dragon. However, how do you take out the people that support this stupidity? Because they're showcasing it to the world and broadcasting it as well. And either these people accept it, and people like are on the side of the road, like looking at them and watching them do this, or like they're cheering it on. They don't care. It's fucked up. How do you fight that? Now that's not one question. Like that's a question that's kind of brought up, but not explored on how to kind of deal with that. Ray did also have a fan at a certain point. Like, hey, good luck, Ray. Kind of was like, what the fuck's kind of going on here? But then we see that Peter is like heartbroken because they had pretty much become brothers. And he then gets his wish of the carbine and shoots the Major. However, we don't know if this is actually what's going on, or if this is part of his dream, a dream sequence or whatnot, because he shoots the Major and then continues pretty much walking, echoing similarly what goes on with the book, because this is a horrible, traumatic kind of event for these people, and similar to kind of like war and all that, where, yeah, you're done, but you're never done, because this thing leaves its mark on you, and you keep, like, you just keep walking, like, because that's what Peter does. There was also evidently an alternate ending. Instead of killing the Major, Pete drops the carbine to his side and continues walking, and that there's intertiles that reveal he begins mailing 3 envelopes filled with cash each month, one to Hank's widow, Ray's mother, and Art's grandmother, the last one who also receives Art's rosary and cross, who had given to Ray before deciding to stop. And that was an affecting moment when Art was affected when Hank had went after the soldiers. He went back to try and help him, but Ray's able to pull him back, and then Art just kind of is at his end. His body can't take anymore, and he asks them to send that rosary to his grandmother, and he kind of stops and they kill him. It's just, it sucks. Now, I think they do a pretty good job of focusing on enough of the boys. Thing is, with a big enough cast like this, I mean, in the book it was 100. In this, it's whittled down to 50, which I think kind of helped out, but you still get red shirt syndrome, where you pretty much have ones that are pretty much there to just have effective set piece kills to show you the brutality of what the fuck is kind of going on with this regime and what's kind of going on with this whole concept of the long walk. It's bullshit. It's pretty much just ritualistic killing for fucking assholes. Both the ones in power and the ones that watch and condone this shit. It's fucked up. And the thing is, it doesn't really present any kind of solution, which it doesn't really truly need to, but its whole kind of thing is like holding up this, look at this thing. Why would anybody want this to happen? Well, because they're desperate, and this is that kind of escape hatch, as Ray pretty much explains of what's going on. and he's attempting to figure and seeing him kind of tease that out of what his father pretty much taught him and what he's attempting to try and do with this long walk, and how Pete is trying to tease it out of him throughout the whole long walk before finally getting to their kind of big kind of character reveals. And it doesn't really feel kind of plot dumpy or exposition dumping. We feel like we're going along this walk with them in those kind of moments, and that because they've been doing all this kind of stuff, they get through their kind of trials and tribulations. One with Garrity pretty much accusing Pete of just trying to fuck with him or whatnot, but for then apologizing, just being like, because he is exhausted, he's doing one of the most physically demanding things possible, and he's not in his right mind on these things, and he's thinking, oh god, what the fuck's kind of going on? He almost was going to die, but he hasn't yet. It's like, woo. So I definitely would recommend this. It's beautifully shot. Like, it looks pretty. They do good effects on the kind of gross things that happen, but it's not complete gross out torture porn level, in my opinion, where that's just like completely focusing on the gore and making it look like, fuck that. No, but it looks well. It's shot very well. It's beautiful. I like how they start doing certain kind of stuff with certain effects towards the end of like how you're trying to call into question what's actually going on. I usually don't like ambiguity like that. I usually like a kind of more definitive kind of thing of what's kind of going on or what the movie is kind of attempting to say. This says it pretty much enough for me, though I think a lot of people, like other people, would be like, I kind of want more definitive ending, and I kind of get that. Trust me, I'm more usually in that camp for that, which is why you got esoteric kind of stuff where it's like a really ambiguous ending, and you're like, I'm not really into that much. This one's got some ambiguity, but it's not on a kind of level of like, what did I just watch? Is this all just a dream kind of shit? But I would recommend it. I don't think it overstays its welcome. It doesn't feel like it's completely too long. It's just under 2 hours, so yeah. It could be one on the background if you watch it once and kind of see it on again and we're like, okay, let's see what's going on here. It's definitely not one for young kids or whatnot, so just watch out for that. Just try and make sure you can understand what the people can handle and if they're kind of into dealing with this kind of heavy subject material. So, those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.